The fear factor is strong within these ones. How you doing, everybody? I'm Tone Space, talking my talk about stuff, issues and stuff without Kelly Bundy. Okay, so Joe Rogan is under fire, but not fired, but under fire for using the N word. I don't know what the monetizing thing of this is going to be. I don't know. So I'll say the N word too. But just to clear any confusion, I use the N word. You know what I'm saying? But in general, so don't think I'm avoiding it because of that. We'll get into all of that, right? So Joe Rogan is in hot water. They're trying to, as they call it, cancel. Can't stand that term. They're trying to cancel Joe Rogan for using the N word. So it's like I heard about this, right? And at first I wasn't even interested in looking into it. I was like, what else is new? Somebody else on some talk of some slick stuff and showing their colors, whatever. Happens all the time, right? I like to check out the Fat Joe show. Shout out to Fat Joe. Shout out to Nems. I see Nems doing his thing. What's up, homie? Shout out to Nems and Fat Joe, right? So I hear Fat Joe talking about the situation. And it's just as harsh as he was speaking. I said, I got to look into this myself. He said, Joe Rogan, he's a piece of ish. Fat Joe said his children shouldn't love him. That was the part that got me. Fat Joe said Joe Rogan's children shouldn't love him. Like, yo, that was a bar. I was like, his children shouldn't love him? Is that serious? I gotta look into this. So then I go to search and I'm trying to find the clip of him saying the N word. Come to find out, I can't find it. So I do a Google search. It's a series of clips. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, if I don't have the full story, but as I understand, the source of this controversy comes due to a video that someone compiled on Twitter, which isn't him just saying the N word twice, three times. It's him saying it a whole bunch of times, maybe about 20. But they chop it up. It's like he's like, oh, and he called him oh, and that's when he called him It's a whole clip of different joints. I'll put the link below so y'all can see it because I don't know me playing it if that's like kosher or not, right? So I'll put the clip. But it's him saying it a whole bunch of times, right? There's no, at least according to that clip that someone put together, there is no context that says, in my personal opinion, because he's being called racist, there's no context in that clip. Now, I don't know, some of those could be contextually him saying something against black folks as a whole and being racist, but nothing in those clips showed any context. Perfect example, Hulk Hogan some years ago, which is a bar in itself from Joe Rogan to Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan some years ago was caught in some secret tapes or whatever, throwing the N word around in a very I don't like black people context. You feel me? This one, it had no context. Now, first, let me give you just my worldly thought of the situation, right? As far as the N word goes, being if you end it with an A or if you end it with an ER. If a white person says it with the most racist intentions toward black people as possible or just wants to be down, right? I personally feel it should not matter. I feel an utterance should not be something to get riled up about, you know? Me and my woman have been watching the Nightmare on Elm Street series, you know, from the first one all the way through. You know, we were watching those joints again, right? Freddy Krueger, what made Freddy Krueger a terror in the real world was people fearing him in their dreams or fearing him, saying, oh, Freddy Krueger, like it was the fear of Freddy that gave him his powers. By the time movie number 6 came out, Freddy was washed up. People done forgot about him. They like, oh, he a bozo. They don't even care. So he was trying to like catch wreck on people. They wasn't having it. They were like laughing at that stuff. They were like, hey, nothing. Freddy Krueger. They didn't fear him. I mean, he eventually got his power back and yada yada yada. But the point is, by turning their back to him, there was nothing to fear about him, and he had no strength. That's how I feel about the N word. I think we as a whole, as a culture, black, Latino, whatever people, even white people, everybody, we need to, yes, we understand its history and stuff like that. Its, you know, its meaning, slavery, all this, yada, yada. but we collectively have the power to turn our back on the N word. And by that, I mean when people throw it around or use it in a racist context, turning our back on it means we don't give a crap. We don't get riled up. Oh, he said, oh, look, Kramer, he done said this. You know what? We laugh it off. That's when it's going to lose its power. So that's how I feel about that as a whole, just in a general sense. So for Joe Rogan, even Hulk Hogan, who did it before, my normal way of feeling about it is it's a verbal utterance. It should hold no power. It should hold no weight, right? Now, with this specific one, at least from the Twitter clip that I saw that I put for y'all, right? The fact that there was no racist context that showed that he said it, to be offensive or racist against black folk in general. I think calling him racist, as many people are doing from it, is a very unfair term, unless some of those clips do show a context where he was saying it in some like messed up way. If he's just like, let's say, reading or saying someone called this one an N-word, or this one or that one, or whatever, it's a different ball, then no. If he said it in that type of context, then yeah, how is he racist, right? Now, what I will say, and this is where it gets a little convoluted. This is the complexity of thought processes and stuff, right? Sure, my worldly view says the N-word ain't anything. Let's not even give it any power, right? However, I'm still realistic. I know we live in a society where that is not the case, right? And we do know that people do get riled up. And we do know, be it YouTube, Spotify, whatever platform, however big a person's platform gets, we know there is an unwritten rule. Heck, it might even be a written rule that as a Caucasian person, you are not to say this particular word. So even though I hold nothing personally against him, and I won't call this man racist for saying that, what I will say is that he has to at least be a little bit, or maybe even a lot, arrogant, or have white arrogant as a white man. Something in him is, because he knows that it's going to get backlash. He knows the world that he's in. He knows that people look down upon white people saying that. So every time he uttered the word, it ran across his desk, so to speak, his mental desk, that look, this is something that white people normally don't say, yet he said it anyway. You know what I mean? So even though I may not deem that as racist, I do look at it as a sense of arrogance from a white man. Maybe his platform got so big, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to push the envelope. I could say that, yada, yada, yada. So at worst, at least from what I saw so far, without knowing the context of it, I say there was some arrogance involved. White arrogance, if you will. If that's a term or not, I don't know. I'm coining it, right? But I would not just outright call the man racist. Maybe I got to look into it more. I saw stuff like different people are falling back from Joe Rogan. Even Fat Joe said something. I think The Rock is taking back some praise that he gave him due to this. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. I'll look more into it. But I think these people are just doing this for PR purposes. Their publicists, people are saying like, yo, you just got to stay. It's that Hollywood stuff. You got to stay away from him. He got the cooties now because he said yada, yada, yada. The Rock don't give a crap about that stuff. Yes, he's a black man as well as myself or whatever, but he put it this way. The Rock grew up in the WWE, right? That's what put him on. Vince McMahon. Need I say any more? If anyone's familiar with it, as far as like racism towards black people, that could be a whole video series. Vince McMahon even did a skit at one of the pay-per-views using the N-word. Him and John Cena. What's up, y'all wrestling, y'all marks, y'all will remember that. You know what I'm saying? He's done that himself. And The Rock, Rock was probably at that pay-per-view. I don't know, but I never heard The Rock go out and say anything against Vince McMahon when he did that. Heck, maybe he did. I was gonna say when Hulk Hogan went on his got caught on some tapes on his racist rant, did The Rock speak out against that? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know the man. I don't know Dwayne himself, but I don't think it's Dwayne Johnson that was offended. I think it was The Rock who was officially offended. So no, I don't think this man Joe Rogan should lose his podcast. Should he apologize? If so, then just for the white arrogance, I don't think he should apologize for being racist if the context wasn't racist. I'm I'm not feeling that. You know what I'm saying? But just for knowing the template in the world that it is, he knew what he was doing. He knew that this is the world, this is how we do with it. Even though I don't agree with that. Turn out back to the N word. That ish don't exist anymore. Call white people that word, as some people have suggested. Something, but do not keep feeding it and giving it this power. Like it's this powerful thing that if someone says against us, it's gonna like knock us 80 feet back. No. Let Freddy Krueger stay dead. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you even something else that I liken it to. You know, we want to talk about like colorism and stuff between, light skinned black folk, dark skinned black folk, stuff like that, right? There was a time when I would shy away from joking with dark skinned people about like their, let's say, their skin complexion. I got out of that. I will talk about a black all day if they feel comfortable talking about me and my complexion. Or sometimes try to call me white. I mean, I am genetically mixed technically, but some people like say, "Oh, you have no black in you. You're just a white man, or you light, you pale, you this." Yes, if you come at me like that and you dark as this Xbox I'm looking at, hold up, yeah, all right. If you dark as the Xbox I'm looking at, there's a chance I may get on your right now. You know what I'm saying? It's a chance, but you know why? Not because I'm on that, oh, I'm light skinned. I got the good hair. I can't stand that term. You know what I'm saying? Not because of anything like that, but kind of comparable to this situation. I had to really think about it. I'm like, look, we know there are colorism issues. We know there are people trying to we know there's a caste system. It's been going on since India, trying to make darker hued people look as lesser than the lighter hued people and all that nonsense, all that stupid stuff. Now psychologically, this is my psychology. Same like as with the N word. If we're going to really do away with that, then I'm going to treat you, the darker hued person. If a dark person can make jokes about me and I don't got to get offended, then I'm going to make the jokes about you because I see you as the equal. I don't see you as the person like, oh, yeah, well, you are dark skinned. Yeah, I'm above you, so they say in this world. So, yeah, I can't talk about your dark skin. You could talk about my light skin all the time. I can't talk about your dark skin, oh, poor thing. No, no, I'm not with the oh, poor thing. I see you as an equal. You know what I'm saying? That's my way of going against that. I know it sounds a little convoluted. I know it sounds a little twisted, but that's how I feel about it. I mean, due to the climate of everything, I think, for a while, maybe niggas shouldn't be talking about. Actually, I don't care. Niggas can make skin color jokes all the time. I think them shits are funny. It is what it is. But I think it's funny because I don't see any weakness in anyone. I don't see any weakness in a darker hued person. If you study any type of black empowerment and stuff like that, melanated people, it's a strength. You know what I mean? It's a more concentrated strength. Someone dark as an Xbox will be 80 looking like they're 35. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So if anything, what's the word? I revere that. You know what I'm saying? But by virtue of that and by virtue of me not being on some oh, you poor thing, no. I'm not treating someone like they're disabled. Like a disabled person talks about a regular, normal-bodied person, cracks jokes on him, and then that person's like, oh, well, I ain't going to talk about that nigga in the wheelchair because that nigga in a wheelchair. No, just because someone's darker than me, they ain't in a wheelchair. Yeah, I know the society is on some BS or whatever, but that's how I speak against that BS. I'm going to look at you and treat you like an equal and talk about your black ass. You feel me? It is what it is. So yeah, that might be a little controversial, but it is what it is. I'm just being honest. Same way I look at it with the N word in general. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, a disclaimer, everything I said, N-word, that don't mean I don't want white people to think that they could just feel free talking a whole bunch of crazy shit in my face, be it light-skinned, dark-skinned, black people, and just throw a bunch of niggas in my face. That's not what I'm saying. Oops, I said it. That's not what I'm saying. You know? So don't get it effed up. You feel me? I'm just saying as a whole, that's what we need to start doing. You don't do it in an antagonistic way. Oh, you're cool with the N-word. Let me call you Nger 20 times a day now. Nah, because that's when someone's just being an ass. You know what I'm saying? But in general, dead it. Don't feed that any power.